Alright, so I am back now with what I think is Japan's first turn, their attack moves, and be kind. Don't hate on me for not following the strategies that people think that this game should go because, well, I've never played it before, so. But just based off what I've got from the rules and just general Axis and Allies knowledge, this is what I'm going to do on turn one. And let me zoom in a little over here on both sides so you can get maybe a better idea of what's going to happen here. It looks like about right. Alright. So Japan has $19. They purchased a transport, 2 artillery, and 1 infantry. And I've noticed I don't have enough pieces for Japan. So, and I don't know if that's because some are missing, because this was a used game, although it didn't look like it was very used. But either way, I had to bring in 1 Japanese fighter from my other set. And you'll recognize it immediately because it's not red. So, I think maybe I have to go to the other side to make these moves for the Pacific. And we've got this chip here, our naval marker for what we have in the Navy. I don't know if that's in, as I can't see but there is a sub which is coming in here to the naval battle. And I'll put the naval battle here on this is to remind me that everyone defends at 1. So I got a sub from C-Zone 20, a sub from C-Zone 18. So I got 2 subs coming in. Will the midget subs get any hits? Who knows? From the carriers, there is 6 fighters. So I have 3 fighters that are flying 1, 2, and we are attacking the airfields and land facilities here to try and destroy the planes and infantry, of course. Then I have 2 planes coming off the carrier into this southern battle, and they have 3 movement left. These planes will have 2 movement left that are hitting Hawaii itself. Then I have a 3rd plane coming from the Caroline Islands. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has 0 spaces left. So I'm hoping to take 1 hit and lose this fighter for 0, so I don't have to move a carrier in. But if I do, I do. It's just part of the battle. And then the 5th or 6th fighter that was on this naval chip here is going to aid in the assault here on Midway. We're going to try and take away the U.S. counterpunch so that we can survive and get out of Dodge before they start unloading. And one thing I did read in the rule book while I was eating lunch, the facility here on the Hawaiian Islands, I thought it was odd that you can build unlimited at any facility or industrial complex. And I thought it was odd, U.S. could put that much force forward, but when you're not in your home country, you can only build land or air units. So all naval units must be built here off the coast, of the USA, and that's the same for any country. So, Japan, well, they only have 1 factory, so it doesn't matter for them. And I think the others, they can't build factories either. I think Britain and Australia, I think they're locked to what they have. So I think that's just a U.S. thing. So U.S. can build a complex, say down here if they capture, well, they'd have to capture a Japanese island or retake one. No, they'd have to capture a Japanese island to build a complex, but they could only build aircraft and land units. So I digress. So I've got hitting the Navy here of 4 ships. I got 2 subs, 3 planes. Hitting Hawaii, I've got 3 planes. Noting that everything defends at 1. So I've got here at Midway, I've got 1 plane, and I've got this transport coming over with 2 dudes to do the naval assault. I have a destroyer and a battleship doing bombardment. And one of the rules I did read on the destroyers, they attack and defend at 3, but their shore bombardment is only at 2. So, which makes sense. So that's the Midway battle. We're going to try and deal with Midway and Hawaii at the same time. Let's take Wake as well. Now this one, we've got a plane. Now because it's coming from that air base and returning to the air base, this doesn't count. So it is 1, 2 on Wake Island, 3, and 4 back to the Marshall Islands. So I like the air base thing on this one. So he'll have 2 movements left. And the destroyer is bringing 1 infantry. So Japan gets to bring 1 infantry on a destroyer. Now there's no bombardment because they're doing the amphibious assault. Oh, I couldn't think of that. Alright, so the last engagement on this side of the map is, let me get these markers off. We are going to hit New Guinea and New Britain. And same thing with an air base, leaving from and coming back. So that's 1, 2, and it'll be 3 and 4 back onto the air base. I will have 2 destroyers, or 2 transports. Well, actually the 2 destroyers are going after the sub. So we'll clear that out. And then I've got 2 transports, one bringing an infantry and artillery into New Guinea, and the other bringing 2 infantry into New Britain. Oh, I didn't mark this convoy box here. We're going to move 1 sub into there, and it says in the rules when you do that to reduce the British convoy marker on the income tracker by 5. So they are now down to 7. And I think Britain will probably come out and get that, is my assumption, but you never know. And then the last movement here is these 2 are coming down here. This transport that was in 25, pick up the 2 guys on Palau Island and into New Guinea as well. So that will be that. Let me move the camera and zoom in on the mainland side. And hopefully now I'm looking at, yeah, I think that, oh, you know what? My battery's about to die, so let me change batteries and we'll start over. Well, we won't start over, we'll start off with the other side of the attacks. Alright, so we are back. Fresh battery. And I'm going to have to start at the bottom here so I can clear out some ships. What I've got here is these 2 fighters coming off this carrier into Singapore there. So they'll have 2 movements left. And as I'm seeing that, I'm thinking, yes, that works, because they can come back to French Indochina. All right, so the carrier battleship are coming down here to clear out that transport. The transport defends at 1, and in this game, the carriers still have an attack value of 1. So accompanying them is 2 transports. And the invasion force, we're going to pull 2 infantry off the island of Hainan. Alright, and then 2 artillery from French Indochina. Alright, so that's the amphib there. Alright, moving pieces off. Alright, so the next battle, we are going after the Prince of Wales and the Repulse. We're sending a destroyer from 45 and then a bomber and a fighter. The fighter will have 2 left, and the bomber will have 4, and they're coming from Saigon. Alright, 1, 2, yep. Alright, so that's that. This tank will go through Siam and into Singapore. Let's give Singapore a little more help. We're going to bring down with 1 transport a artillery and a infantry. So there is that. Alright, so we have the air base on Formosa. So that means this fighter here can go 1, 2 onto Borneo, 3, 4, land back at the air base. Same thing with the second fighter on Formosa, only it's going to the Philippines. Alright, so I am liking the air base maneuver on this game. That is very helpful. Alright, so we have a transport in C-Zone 37 that will come down with 2 infantry to Borneo. And that will be the assault there. Alright, working our way up. Let's get that off. We have a naval battle off the Philippines, which will be a battleship, a sub, and a bomber from Japan with 3 movements left. Alright, now I've got a fighter from Japan. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's coming from an air base in Japan, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, so he'll land on the air base on Formosa. And I may have said it already, but I do like that air base thing. Alright, so this transport, I had to mark them with blue dice to keep them straight. I also had to redo my attacks because I got halfway through them and I was using the naval bases like the Global 40 naval bases. And then I realized, oh wait a minute, it's different. Alright, so that leaves this dice, that's right, I had 2 transports going into Hong Kong. So 3 infantry, 1 artillery, 1 fighter. These are still out on the island. Alright, so the other 2 transports here are going into the Philippine battle with a tank, 2 infantry, and an artillery. Let me get that dice out of there. Alright. That leaves the China battles, which is 1 infantry and 1 fighter in that territory. 2 infantry, tank there, 2 infantry, artillery there. And those battles will be regular dice, so we'll see how those go. I think that is it. I've got this destroyer, I got a yellow chip on it because what I want to do is once I capture this Singapore naval base, then I can go from this naval base to that naval base, 3 spaces. So he'll come in then, because right now he can't reach, but he'll come in, bring 1 guy, we'll land there in Singapore, and then that destroyer will be guarding the transport there. And I don't think they have anything that can hit it, but you never know. Alright, so I'm going to come around here and we'll back it up and I'll start rolling some dice. Alright, where can I put the dice tray here? Alright, let's zoom back and tilt it down a little. Alright, so there's all my battles. They're in the viewfinder. These 3 carriers are actually up here where this chip is for now. And we'll move that around here in a little bit. Put them up there. Alright. So let's slide these British over here. Make some room. And let me see if that's, yeah, it is. All right, so we'll start off. How will we start here? I want to do this side last because, well, quite frankly, that's the one I'm kind of nervous about. All right, so let's just start up at the top with China. We'll roll some regular dice. China has 2 infantry at 2, and then Japan is attacking with 2 1s and a 3 for the tank. So I'm going to roll them all together. 1 hit, so China is down 1 infantry. All right, so China loses. I'm going to reach across the camera here. Those 2 infantry are dead. All right, slide in there. All right. Next battle is, I'll have to roll this separate. 2 infantry and 1 artillery. So it'll be 2 2s and a 1. 2 hits. And then China defends with 2 infantry. Oh, ouch. All right, so that was painful. But it does give me an infantry, which I desperately need for Japan. All right, so the next one, China's defending with a 2. Japan is attacking with a 1 and a 3 for the infantry and plane. All hits. China is gone. Japan loses its infantry, does not take the territory because it's worth nothing. So we'll get rid of that unit. The next one there is Hong Kong. And it is defended by 2 British infantry, as in every game of Axis and Allies you've ever seen, or that I've ever seen. Alright, attacking is 2 infantry by themselves, infantry, artillery, and a fighter. So we need 2 hits. Huh. Got nothing. Britain fires back with 2 infantry. Nothing. Alright. Let's go again. Second round of combat. 1 hit. Alright. Britain fires back in defense. 1 hit. Alright. So Britain has 1 left. Still nothing. Dang it. Whoop. Well, they didn't get any hits anyway, so it didn't matter. So let's continue on. Just needing 1 hit. There it is. Britain has 1 left. And they get a hit. So 2 British go away, and then 2 of Japan goes away. I debated not bringing that second transport, so I guess it was a good thing I did. Alright, so that there. Alright, they're out on an island. They haven't moved. Singapore. Alright, so, oh, you know what? Those 2 British in Hong Kong should have been rolling at 1. So I'll re-roll those. For the first round of attacks, nothing. Second round, nothing. And then the third round. So I need to put those 2 Japanese infantry back. Alright, so they actually did not get a hit. Alright, Singapore is defended by 3 infantry and a fighter, but it doesn't matter, they're all 4 1s. We have a tank, we have 2 fighters, infantry, artillery. So we need 4 hits here. Get 2. Here's 4 1s back. Gets 1. So we're going to take one of the 2s out. And we need 2 more hits. There they are. Britain defends with... Wow. The anti-aircraft. It's almost like an anti-aircraft roll, isn't it? So 2 units go away. Infantry, artillery. Britain loses 3 infantry and a fighter. Alright. So the tank takes the territory. Alright, the Prince of Wales and the Repulse are being attacked by a fighter, a destroyer, and a bomber. So I need 3 hits because the battleship takes 2 hits. Nice. Nothing back. Matter of fact, I can roll these all at once. Alright, 1 and 1. So we'll tip the battleship. And the cruiser was there to take as a casualty, so we will lose that. So that makes... well, they still get 2 device to defend. Alright, one more. We'll lose the destroyer. The battleship Lee is alive. Oh my gosh, this is terrible rolling. No! Got it, but we're going to lose a fighter. Alright, so that was painful. Painful. Alright, so... you know what? Here's one of those things where the game... I should have left this destroyer and taken that fighter at the first, because that would mean I would convoy them for a full 3. But I didn't see that. My mistake. Alright. Borneo is 2 infantry at 1 and a fighter at 3. And Britain just has 1 infantry there. Britain defends. Oh my gosh. Night of the Living Dead. Oh, I'm suffering from 1 defense rolls. Alright, so the next battle. We got to clear the sea zone for that amphib. I've got a battleship and a carrier at 1 and 4. Unbelievable. Transport at 1. Alright, here's the Japanese second attack. Gets the transport. Transport, thank you for missing. Alright. So the naval or the amphibious invasion is 2 infantry, 2 artillery, and defending is 2 infantry and a fighter, but they're all at 1. Remember, 1 hit. Oh, all right. So we'll take 1 dice off of the British. 1 hit again. We got 2 dice. And 3rd time. So 3 rounds, they got 1 hit each time. Alright, so no losses there. That was nice. Alright. Alright, so throw those away. What's next? The Philippines. Alright, so the naval battle is Japan bomber, battleship, sub versus 3 ships for the US at 1. So I'm going to roll those all at once. Gosh. Unbelievable. So it's 1 and 1. So we're going to tip the battleship, take the transport. Alright, so the US only has 2 dice left. 1 hit. So the US only has 1 dice left now. Man, this is about the crappiest rolling I've seen since the last YouTube game. Alright, so the good news on this game, at the end of your turn, I think that's what it said, any subs that submerged or ships that were damaged get flipped over, so there won't be anything that they're involved with, so it gets flipped back over. Alright, so the land invasion of the Philippines is 3 units for the US, and we have a tank, artillery, infantry, and 1 infantry by itself. Alright, needing 3 hits, we get 1. US rolls in defense. Oh my gosh. This is painful. Alright, so we'll take a dice off the US. There we go, cleaned up Philippines. And they defend with... oh my gosh! I don't know what is happening here. Alright, so I think I'm going to lose that artillery so I can keep an amphib on one of those transports. Alright. You know what? I rolled that whole stinking battle and forgot about that fighter there. Oh. Such is life. Alright. Next battle is, these guys weren't in there. That's a walk-on. We've got the sub battle there. We've got 2 destroyers for Japan and then a sub for Britain. Oh, have you ever seen so many ones hit? Alright, so on the land is a fighter and 2 infantry by themselves for Japan. Got the hits and 1 defense for Britain. Alright. So, stepping north here, Wake Island. We have a fighter and an infantry needing 1 hit. Of course, infantry or marine on the island. This, Japan's second round gets the hit. US misses. Alright, so he's gone. Alright, so midway we've got a fighter, a bombard, and a bombard for the destroyer, which is down at 2, and then 2 infantry. So we need 2 hits. There's an infantry and a fighter on midway. 1 hit. I can't get more than 1 hit for nothing. So the US defends. Oh, I know I sound like a broken record, but this is insane. Alright, so the bombards go away. That leaves 1 fighter, 1 infantry. Well, 2 hits. That was nice. You're kidding me. Alright, well, do I lose a fighter? It's not worth anything. But I want the territory because it has that naval base. But you know what? They can take it back. Oh, but you know what? Planes can land there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. They can't. 2, 3, 4. They can. What to do? What to do? I didn't realize it was going to be this painful. So I think I'll take the island. Man, what a kicker. Alright. So last battle here is the naval battle for the Hawaiian Island zone there. So we've got 3 fighters and 2 subs. Now we need 6 hits here because of the battleships. 2. Alright, so the battleships are damaged. There is 4 units there at 1. Nothing. So we roll again. The same. 1 hit. Come on. Transport bites the dust. US still has 4 on defense. There is the 0. So I don't have to bring a carrier in there. That's nice. However, I would have liked to have had that on the second round. Whoop. Alright, that dice is gone. At least till I can get it. Alright, so there's 2. Thank you. Oh, it's a hit there. It is a hit. So that is it. They are wiped with 3 back at me. And nothing. Alright, so that is it for the naval battle. Now for the land battle. I have 3 fighters at 3, and there's 4 US units at 1. You're trying to clean house. So I think we're going to lose the 2 infantry. because it doesn't matter on defense right now. So it is 2 3s against 2 1s. Alright, so now it will take that bomber. It is now 2 3s against a 1. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Alright, so we didn't have any transports in range of the Hawaiian Islands, or I would have did that. Alright, so with that in mind, the only thing I'll really need to show here is we're going to take, and I'll have to chip these out, leaving 4. Our non-com move here will be this destroyer taking an infantry 1, 2, 3 to this naval base here that we just captured, which is a legal move in this game. So nothing else exciting. I'll land my planes, and really the only thing else I got to move is some infantry in French Indochina and Korea, and I will catch the rest of the turn up in the recap. As looking at the board right now, there's probably not a lot the Allies can do on turn 1. I'm going to look at the midway. I don't think, because all they can get there is planes. I think that would be a huge disaster if they lost all their planes, but maybe not. I'll give that a look-see, and you can see at the recap of end of turn 1. Alright, so here is the end recap of turn 1. You saw all the Japan attacks, and then the one non-com move there with the destroyer. The only thing Japan did was they placed their units there in Japan and landed their planes. They ended up with 5 planes left here. They did lose 2, so I had 7 planes involved in those battles. Surprisingly, a number of Japanese units fell to 1s on the defense of the Allies, so that was a crazy amount of carnage, I think, for Japan. But Britain goes next in their turn. They made a counterattack here because there was 2 destroyers that came in on that Anzac sub. They got the sub, but the sub got one of the destroyers. So there was 3 transports and 1 destroyer. So they thought, I thought it was a good risk to send in the only 2 ships that could make it for Anzac to try and clean those out, or at least get half of them gone, or maybe get it down to just to get rid of those transports. However, one of the transports rolled a hit, so that wiped out the 2 British ships. They did sink one of the Japanese transports, so that was the end of that battle really quick. The other thing that Britain did, they have a carrier and a battleship down here in the corner, and with the Japanese forces here and some planes, to move up here into 52 to try and get there or come this way was very risky. This was about the only spot that they could, reduce the number of Japanese that could hit them. So they built a destroyer, and I put that fighter that was in India on combat air patrol to protect that destroyer. That's not to say Japan won't decide to go get them, but it's going to be costly if they do. The idea, I guess, is we're going to try and get that fleet here to where we can build some more fleet to protect it, all while trying not to lose Calcutta there. So it's a gamble, but I didn't know where else to go with that right now. So they collected their money. Britain is down to $10, and then Australia is down to 16. And there was $7 in convoy money from these convoy boxes, so I gave that all to India for next turn, so that they can do some naval defense there, I think. before Japan can get another carrier down there or something, painful. U.S. goes, they went after this sub, and if I'm reading the rules correctly, this destroyer and these two fighters from that carrier that were here came over, missed, so the sub gets to submerge and back out of the battle. That was, I took the marker off, they had come in here and taken that convoy zone from Britain. A submerged sub cannot control a convoy zone, so with the U.S. destroyer there, that's removed, but that's it was too late because the U.S. goes after Britain, so they'll have to try and collect that next turn if Japan doesn't do anything there for another turn. The battle here, because to come up here, I think there was 5 planes that could make it and find a place to land, which puts that carrier out in a bad spot. Or maybe it was this carrier here. But you can see there's 5 fighters, a battleship, 3 carriers, which defend at 3, a destroyer defending at 3. So I think they would have been wiped on the first turn. So they opted to go for these 2 smaller battles. Failed here. They did get the 2 hits for the 2 subs that survived the Pearl Harbor battle, but one of the subs got a hit. So U.S. sub down. And I think they did place, so they get to place infantry and fighter here, so they put a stack because they were wiped out. And then the Navy, they built off the west coast there to try and get back into naval shape with the Japan. Everything they lost here at Pearl, they've built back except for one of the battleships. So next turn they'll probably get back on that, back on track. And my assumption is Japan will move out of strike range. I gotta believe so, right? Or will they stay there? I can't see them staying there because there's significantly more aircraft in the area. So we'll see. What else did I want to talk about? Move the camera over here on the chart here. Japan had 35 IPCs to end their turn, so that gave them 3 victory points. So it's 1 for every 10. I'm going to leave that there for that. So they've got 3 of the 22 they need. You can see, Anzac, U.S., Britain all went down. Convoy zone went down. But that's to be expected with Japan starting at 19. So we're going to move on to turn 2 now, and I will be back with a recap of turn 2.